Hey guys, Sandy here, and I am back for Follow a Sketch February for what I believe is Saturday, February 24th. Now I am scrapbooking using this sketch from Sketchy Thursdays by Diana. I'm not exactly sure where it comes from. I did find a photo account that I will link on my blog. I am going to scrapbook this one photo. It's of the outside of the Ghirardelli chocolate outlet and ice cream shop, and I'm going to be using my Secret Not Secret kit from the month of January. So let's see what I can do.
So the first thing I decided to do was add a little bit of a stenciled background with some texture paste and the paint that came in my Secret Not Secret Kit Club kit. The texture paste is Heidi Swap and it's metallic, and the paint is also metallic, so there's definitely a nice shimmery shine on this bad boy. Now I'm using this Tim Holtz stencil, and it's from Stampers Anonymous, and I just marked a little bit, and I'm not even sure why I marked where I was going to go, because basically I'm filling the whole stencil in. And I thought, you know what, I probably need a little bit more of this, so I went ahead and added a little bit more texture paste and some more of that paint. And I'm just mixing it in like a little ceramic crock and using a palette knife. Now, I'm doing this thinly. It's not thick at all because I want it to dry quickly. I don't want to have to wait overnight for it to dry, and frankly, I'm going to use my heat tool. I don't want to have to spend a half an hour drying the sucker with my heat tool. Now, this is because I am impatient, so I went ahead and added more of the texture paste with the stencil down below, and then you'll see a gap there. Now, this texture paste paint combo really matches this background paper, so sometimes you can't really see it. Now, this is where I decide, you know what? If I put this stencil down on top of the other stencils, it's going to go funky. So I went ahead and pulled out my heat tool, and I'm just going to dry this enough so that I can get that stencil down there. Now, the Heidi Swap texture paste dries pretty quickly, actually. And then I just decided to dry it on the back as well, so the top layer wouldn't be dry with the bottom underneath of it wet, and then when I touch it, it kind of like smooshes and moves anyway. So here we go. I just decided to add a little bit more up at the top, and then I'm just going to add some here so that that gap doesn't look like a gap. And here it is all dried, and you can see the shine in the light. So I want to back this. It needs a little bit of a border. So I'm going with some black cardstock, and it's just a basic black cardstock from Creative Memories. It's not a thick one at all. And I'm just using my ATG, and there is some warping on this paper, and look at that. That is so pretty to me. And then I just go ahead and push up like that to get it smooth, and then I'm just adding some more tape where I think it needs to go to get that paper down as smooth as possible. Now, there are some bubbles still there, but you know what? They're not hurting anybody. I'm okay with it. So here's my photo, and at first I was thinking, what am I doing matting it on this bright corally pink cardstock? But I went for it anyway. I just kept the border super thin. I really didn't want a thick border on the photo at all, just enough to give it some, not dimension, but like just to give it a little bit of separation from the background, because the background is blending together on top of each other because that paint color is so similar to the background paper. Now, I go ahead and fussy cut this floral bit a little bit, And I was thinking about maybe having that hang over top of the photo a little bit, but I decided that that was a bad idea. It did not look good at all. Now, when I was fussy cutting this bad boy, I accidentally trimmed off the entire bit of flower, so I had to use some adhesive to get that back down on there. But, you know, it's looking pretty good. And there's where that little missing flower is, and it's going right on to where it needs to go. Okay, guys, I had to stop doing that voiceover and go to bed. Just was not feeling it whatsoever. But today's a new day, feeling better than it was yesterday. Yesterday was rough. Today's a little bit rough too. Have you ever had like flu symptoms without having the actual flu? Like I've got the fever, I got the body aches, I got the chills, but nothing else. Like no head issues, no stomach issues. It's weird, man. It's just really weird. Okay, so I have this dotted paper, and I love this dotted paper. It is so pretty. So I use my favorite scallop punch to punch it out, and then I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off. And I found that if I'm using the scallop pieces without tucking it completely under something, so like this is going to have a little part of it hanging out where it's not going to be tucked anywhere, I found that I really like that at about 1 inch. If I'm tucking it under somewhere, I go to 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, and then that way I still have that decent amount of scallop showing. And I don't know how I discovered that or when. I just realized it one day and I was like, oh, that's the way it goes. Now, there is going to be an awkward gap here where that striped 4x6 card doesn't meet up with the scalloped piece, but I'm going to cover that up. Now, I thought I would use this twine that came in the kit, and it is a white and gold twine, and I thought, well, I'll just tie it over here and make a little bow, and then that way it would kind of bring some excitement to the photo, because, you know, for some reason, it didn't occur to me to actually take photos when we went in here or while we were eating our ice cream. It just occurred to me to take a photo of the building. And I've discovered that since my camera has kind of gone up and I've only been using my phone, I'm not taking as many pictures as I used to. And that definitely has to change. I am going to have to either really just start taking more pictures with my phone or invest in another camera and really get some good shots, because I miss the photos. Like, I just miss them. So I decided to cut out these flowers out of the cut apart sheet because they match the flowers over here on this 4x6 card that I had cut out, and I'm going to use that to bridge the gap between the striped card and the scalloped piece. So you can't even tell that it's missing that. And I needed to remove that twine because I needed to just adjust it a little bit, and it wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. Now, I thought about pop dotting this bad boy, but honestly, it was too much effort to get the pop dots. It just was. I don't know. And then I'm getting these stickers that came in the kit. And this is how I use all my thickers and 6x12 stickers like this that are in packages. What I do is trim off one of the 12-inch packaging parts right there. And then that way the thickers slide in and out. And I didn't even slide them out this time. I just pulled them out. But they slide in and out nicely, and then I store them horizontally. So I flip through them. So I don't see like the name of the thicker, because honestly, I don't think, oh, I need some blah, blah, blah thickers. I think, oh, I need some gold thickers. So I flip through my thickers until I find the gold thickers, and then I grab them. And my thickers stash has definitely grown. I used to have, like, I thought I was hot stuff. I had 4 sets of thickers. Like, I was like, yeah, I got all the thickers. And then it's definitely grown, but it's not ridiculous yet. So ridiculous meaning I have to sort them in color order. It's manageable enough that I can just put them in one place and not have to sort them in color order. And ridiculous meaning not a bad kind of ridiculous, but a good kind of ridiculous. So I'm messing around with this twine, and I'm just trying to figure out where exactly it should go and which part of the flower it should tuck into so that it lays nicely. Now, I want it to have this as just a decent sized bow. So I am going to use one of my Zots, and Zots are my absolute favorite thing to adhere bows. They're a little bit thicker than ATG adhesive, and they just stick. They just stick so well. So I go ahead and eventually, when I stop messing around with this bow, I'm going to use a little Zot and put it down there. Now, I'm thinking that I really actually like this page. It's pretty. It's got, a little bit of texture. And here I'm trying to figure, I want to bring the dots up a little bit. And I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that. I'm thinking, do I want to add some more blocks, or how do I want to do this? And then I decide to pull out a doily. And this is where I make a mistake. I cut the doily because I'm thinking I want it just on part of it, but then I decided I wanted the doily to hang off. However, I cut it. So I needed another doily, and then I cut the doily, and it looked like Pac-Man to me, so I Pac-Man'd across the page. And then the doily's there, and I'm liking that, and I'm thinking this is where I'm going to bring up the dots again. And it's just that little cutoff piece. So I pop that down there. And I'm like, yay. And then I'm thinking, there needs to be something here as well. Like, when I'm looking at my page, I can visualize it and just, move my fingers across something to, I see it. Do you know what I mean? I see that needs something there, and if I put my finger across where I want it to go, my brain can visualize it. So I pulled out my word stickers from Simple Stories, and I'm just putting a little bit on here. So I put one up at the top there, and then I'm just going to put a couple here, and they're just things that are relevant, there aren't chocolate word stickers in this pack, but just things that are relevant enough that it fits within the layout. And then I was like, this is flapping up too much, so we need a little bit more adhesive. And then this whole time I'm thinking in my mind and debating if I need to add gold mist. Now, the thickers are a matte gold, and my mist is definitely not matte. So the whole time I'm scrapbooking this page, I'm thinking about it. Now, here I'm thinking it just needs a little something more. So this die cut that came in the kit, and it's from the Romance Ephemera pack. I'm like, yep, this works. And then I decide, you know what? I'm just going to cut this bad boy in half, and I'm going to add it to 2 sections of this cluster here because it needs it. It really needs it. There we go. And that makes me happy. And if you can hear the background noise, that is family in the other room watching Lethal Weapon 2. So if you can hear that, sorry about that. Now what am I doing here? Oh, so I grabbed these sparkly enamel dots, which are embellishments from Freckled Fawn. And I'm really liking doing this right now, which is doing 3 different sizes clustered together. And I also really like taking an enamel dot and tucking it into the little curved section of a label, which is what I did right there. on the flower part that's kind of hanging over the photo. And then I thought, do I add a little bit more? Do I need a little bit more here? And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, no, I don't need more there. It's all going to be good. So I just decide to add my journaling right underneath the title. And I decided to put the title there and make it work for me, make that banner work for me, rather than fighting it or trying to cover that banner up, which is what I've done in the past, because I've had multiple sheets of this paper because I liked it so much. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, sorry this Follow a Sketch February is kind of late in the day. It's still being published on the right day. It's just later than what I normally send out the videos, and that is probably going to be the way it's going to be until I am back running full force. So thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and leave me a comment below if you'd like to talk. Talk to you soon. Bye.